The ball went inbounds, but Lexi Hull read it like a book. She darted into the passing lane, stripped it clean, and suddenly the Indiana Fever had the possession that would change everything. That single moment wasn't just a steal. It was the exclamation point on one of the gutsiest wins this franchise has ever pulled off. A team decimated by injuries, weighed down by nearly a decade of postseason futility, found itself on the doorstep of the semifinals, and Hull's hands made it real. This wasn't just a basketball game. It was survival. Win or go home. 6 players unavailable. Controversial officiating still fresh in their minds. And a road crowd in Atlanta waiting to bury them. The Fever had no margin for error, no safety net. But instead of folding, they met that pressure head-on and rewrote their story in front of everyone. Kelsey Mitchell carved up defenses late, Aaliyah Boston imposed her will in the paint, and Hull, struggling all night, saved her defining play for the very end. Against all odds, the Indiana Fever are back in the semifinals for the first time since 2015. The weight of history hung heavy. Nearly 10 years since their last postseason breakthrough. Nearly 10 years since Tamika Catchings was still the soul of the team. Back then, Natasha Howard was just breaking into the league and Stephanie White was in her first stint as head coach. A different era, a different WNBA. That long drought wasn't just a number in a record book, it was a shadow. One that loomed over every season, every roster change, and every fan who sat through heartbreak after heartbreak. Game 3 wasn't about stats. It was about whether the Fever could finally put that shadow to rest. What made it more incredible was the state of their roster. Caitlin Clark sidelined. Sophie Cunningham out. Sydney Colson unavailable. Chloe Beebe, Ari McDonald, Damiris Dantas all missing. That's not just depth, that's experience. Shooting, defense, leadership. Gone. Most teams would have already accepted their fate. But Indiana turned that vacuum into fuel. Stripped of expectation, they became the team with nothing left to lose. And sometimes that's the most dangerous kind of opponent. The officiating controversies of Game 1 still burned in their memory. Phantom whistles, momentum-killing calls, and even a technical on their coach. That frustration carried into Game 3, but instead of boiling over, it became a fire in their lungs. They weren't going to let the season end on excuses. They wanted control, and they were ready to take it. Kelsey Mitchell was the heartbeat. 24 points, and the way she scored them was as important as the total itself. 19 before halftime, pouring in buckets when Indiana desperately needed to stay in it. Every drive through traffic, every contested jumper, every quick pull-up over a defender became a lifeline. Atlanta knew she was coming. They sent help, clogged the paint, tried to force her into mistakes. But Mitchell wouldn't vanish. Even when her scoring slowed, she found ways to contribute. Assists, blocks, defensive hustle. She refused to be erased, and her stubborn will kept the Fever's pulse alive. In the paint, Aaliyah Boston fought her own war. Matched up with the physically imposing Bree Jones, she absorbed every shove, every armbar, every collision. The stat sheet, 14 points, 12 rebounds, 6 assists, was impressive, but it didn't capture the grit. Every rebound came through traffic. Every pass out of a double team created a scoring chance that mattered. Boston didn't just play her role. She anchored an undermanned team against one of the most physical front courts in the league, and when the Fever needed a go-ahead basket in crunch time, it was Boston who buried the shot, pushing them ahead when it mattered most. Natasha Howard's fingerprints were everywhere. She didn't need flash to dominate. Loose balls that looked destined for Atlanta somehow found their way back into Fever hands because she lunged, reached, and fought for them. Every possession she extended became one more chance to stay alive, one more chance to change momentum. Odyssey Sims brought pure aggression. 16 points and 8 assists, but it was the attitude behind them that stood out. She attacked relentlessly, daring defenders to stop her, absorbing contact, driving straight into the teeth of Atlanta's defense. For someone who hadn't been with the roster all year, her leadership and poise under pressure were invaluable. In hostile territory, Sims became the calm in the storm. And then there was Brianna Turner, stepping into a bigger role when fatigue and foul trouble threatened to derail rotations. She contested shots, blocked lanes, read plays before they unfolded. Her energy steadied the defense when it could have cracked. Aerial Powers brought her own spark. Diving for loose balls, contesting everything, raising the team's energy with hustle plays that don't always show up on the box score, but change the way a game feels. All of it led to those final seconds. For most of the night, Lexi Hull couldn't find her rhythm. Shots rimmed out, jumpers clanged, and frustration sat heavy on her shoulders. But she kept grinding defensively, waiting for one chance. And when it came, she didn't hesitate. First came the three-pointer with less than a minute left. a dagger that silenced the crowd and put Indiana back in front. Then came the steal. With 7.4 seconds left, Atlanta had one last inbound to save their season. Everyone expected the ball to reach its target. Hull saw it differently. She anticipated the angle, lunged forward, and stripped it clean. One motion, one play, and nearly 10 years of waiting ended. The final buzzer unleashed a flood of emotion. Odyssey Sims iced it with a free throw, but Hull's steal was the moment fans will carry forever. From the bench, Caitlin Clark erupted, towel in the air, screaming alongside her teammates. She posted online in all caps, "Fever show," hearts and team colors filling the message. Injured or not, she was right there, part of the family. In the locker room, Kelsey Mitchell grabbed teammates in a long embrace, relief pouring out of her. Aaliyah Boston sat quietly for a moment, tears welling up, the enormity of history sinking in. And Hull clutched the game ball like it was gold, showing it proudly to every camera. 10 years of frustration washed away in one night. Stephanie White addressed her team with the pride of a coach who knew exactly how much they had endured. She told them it didn't matter the circumstances, the score, or the injuries. They had always found a way to fight. She reminded them this wasn't luck. This was toughness, resilience, heart. And now this was history. But joy comes with reality. Waiting for them were the Las Vegas Aces, the defending champions, stacked with Aja Wilson, Chelsea Gray, Jackie Young, and the kind of depth that punishes every mistake. Becky Hammon has already warned that Indiana hasn't seen the real Aces yet. A challenge meant to sharpen her own team and intimidate the Fever. It's a best-of-5 series now, and the climb only gets steeper. Still, what Indiana did in Atlanta can't be dismissed. 6 players down, on the road, facing elimination, and they won. For a franchise that has been desperate for signs of revival, this was the clearest one yet. They didn't just survive, they proved they belonged. So here's the real question. Was this simply a magical night that snapped a drought, or is it the spark of something bigger? Can the Fever carry this momentum into a fight with the league's juggernaut, or will this be remembered as a stepping stone in a longer climb back to greatness? What do you think? Was Lexi Hull's steal the single greatest Fever play of the last decade? And can this undermanned team push the Aces further than anyone expects? Drop your thoughts below, and let us know how proud you are of Indiana's fight. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next chapter of this playoff story. The Fever are back and the league is on notice.